Age 60. Building a strong and independent life. As we reach 60, many of us ask, who will truly be there for me in the years ahead? While family provides love and connection, the reality is that children and grandchildren may not always be available to care for us daily. Placing all our trust in others can lead to disappointment and dependence. Instead, building a solid foundation for ourselves allows us to live a free, independent, and fulfilling later life. Life after 60 isn't just about resting. It's a new chapter filled with both opportunities and challenges. This is the time to establish a sustainable support system that ensures stability in finances, health, emotions, and relationships. The 5 essential pillars for a happy retirement include financial security, physical health, emotional resilience, a strong social circle, and a clear sense of purpose. Aging brings inevitable changes, but we can take control of how we navigate them. Learning to be self-reliant, planning for the long term, and cultivating meaningful connections will help us enjoy these golden years with peace and joy. Don't let aging become a burden. Embrace it as a journey worth living. 1. Financial stability, the foundation for a free and independent retirement. After turning 60, one of the biggest concerns many people face is financial security. Will I have enough money to support myself without relying on my children? Can I make decisions freely without constantly worrying about unexpected expenses? These questions aren't just fleeting thoughts, they become persistent worries. No one wants to become a burden on their family, but without a solid financial foundation, we may find ourselves in situations where we lose control over our own lives. Harry, a retired teacher, once struggled with these fears. He had worked hard his entire life, but had never seriously considered how he would sustain himself in retirement. When he finally stopped working, he felt anxious and uncertain, relying on a modest pension that barely covered his needs. He didn't want to depend on his children, but he also wasn't sure if he had enough money to maintain the lifestyle he desired. Taking control of finances, instead of drowning in worry, Harry decided to take action. He began by assessing his financial situation, creating a strict budget, and cutting unnecessary expenses. He leveraged his teaching experience to generate extra income by tutoring and writing instructional books for young educators. This not only provided financial relief but also kept him engaged and gave him a sense of purpose. One key lesson Harry learned was that it's never too late to improve financial security. Many people assume that after 60, opportunities to increase income disappear, but that's not true. Small, safe investments, renting out part of a home, or taking on light, flexible work can help generate a steady source of income. Protecting assets and planning ahead. Beyond earning extra income, Harry also learned how to safeguard his wealth. He researched health insurance options to avoid overwhelming medical expenses and set up an estate plan to ensure his assets were properly managed. Writing a will and organizing his finances gave him peace of mind, knowing that his family wouldn't have to deal with financial confusion later. The power of financial freedom. Financial stability provides the freedom to live life on your own terms. Without money worries, you can focus on the things you enjoy, traveling, socializing, and taking care of your health proactively. Harry gained the confidence to make decisions without seeking permission or relying on others. Lesson learned: retirement should not be a time of financial stress. Start planning today. Review your finances, set clear goals, and explore ways to create even small but stable income streams. Don't wait until a crisis forces you to worry. Be proactive now to build a future where you are financially free and in control. Remember, financial stability isn't just about money. It's about independence, self-respect, and the ability to live life on your own terms. 2. Health, the key to maintaining independence. After turning 60, many people worry about declining health and losing the ability to take care of themselves. What if one day I can't walk on my own, cook my meals, or handle simple tasks? These thoughts can be terrifying, especially after seeing friends or loved ones become dependent on their children or nursing homes due to poor health. Anna, 70, once had similar fears. She had always been active, enjoying gardening and cooking. However, after 60, she began noticing changes, aching joints, difficulty moving, and a body that no longer felt as agile. She feared that if she didn't take control of her health, she would eventually lose her independence. Instead of letting fear control her, Anna decided to take action. 2.1. Keeping the body active. She started each day with a 30-minute walk around her neighborhood. At first, it was challenging, but she remained persistent. Within weeks, she felt more energetic, slept better, and experienced less joint pain. In addition to walking, she practiced gentle yoga to maintain flexibility and joined a senior dance class, which helped her stay active while also fostering social connections. 2.2. Eating for wellness. Anna also improved her diet, focusing on vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, and calcium-rich foods to support her bones and joints. She reduced sugar and salt intake, opting for natural spices to promote heart health. Staying hydrated and limiting alcohol further helped her maintain a strong, healthy body from within. 2.3. Regular health checkups. Rather than waiting for problems to arise, Anna scheduled regular health checkups. By detecting early warning signs, she adjusted her lifestyle to prevent future illnesses, ensuring she stayed in control of her well-being. The outcome. After a year of commitment, Anna felt healthier and more confident. She could still cook, shop, and enjoy life without relying on anyone else. Lesson learned. Good health doesn't happen by chance. It must be maintained daily. If we want to remain independent as we age, we must prioritize physical activity, healthy eating, and regular medical checkups. A strong body allows us to enjoy life on our own terms, free from dependence on others. 3. Emotional resilience. Staying strong amidst life's changes. After 60, life changes in ways no one can fully prepare for. Friends become less available, children are busy with their own lives, careers come to an end, and at times, loneliness starts creeping in. How can one continue to find joy when the world no longer feels the same? This question leaves many feeling lost, anxious, and even depressed. Tony, 72, experienced this firsthand. He had spent his life working hard, raising his children, and building a career he was proud of. But upon retirement, he suddenly felt directionless. The long days stretched in silence. No work to keep him occupied, no colleagues to chat with. As his children moved out to start their own families, his once lively home became eerily quiet. 3.1. Facing the feeling of loneliness. In the first few months of retirement, Tony felt like he had lost his purpose. He asked himself, "If no one needs me anymore, then what am I here for?" The emptiness made him lose sleep, lose appetite, and feel increasingly drained. But one day, he had a realization. Happiness does not come from being needed by others, but from creating value for oneself. 3.2. Rediscovering purpose in life. Instead of letting loneliness take control, Tony decided to live for himself. He started practicing meditation, focusing on the present, and reducing negative thoughts. Then, he returned to an old passion, painting. Before, his busy career had left him little time to pursue art seriously. But now, he dedicated his mornings to sitting in front of the canvas, letting colors and brush strokes bring him peace. Not only did he immerse himself in painting, but he also joined a local art club where he met people who shared his passion. There, he made new friends, engaged in creative conversations, and rebuilt a sense of community. 3.3. Cultivating positivity. Every day. Every morning, Tony wrote down 3 things he was grateful for. It could be a delicious breakfast, a beautiful day, or simply a kind smile from a neighbor. This small habit helped him shift his focus from what he had lost to what he still had. Additionally, he started helping those around him, sometimes by mentoring a young artist, other times by assisting a neighbor with small repairs. These small acts of kindness restored his sense of value and purpose in life. The outcome. A year later, Tony no longer feared loneliness. He still lived alone, but he no longer felt lost. He had created a life where each day had something to look forward to: a new painting, a meeting with friends, or a peaceful moment with a cup of tea. Lesson learned: emotional resilience is not about avoiding sadness. It's about facing it and transforming it into motivation to live better. Find what brings you joy, nurture gratitude, and develop habits that keep your spirit strong. When you actively create happiness, you no longer feel powerless in the face of life's changes. For building a strong social circle. As we age, our social circles gradually shrink. Friends move away, children become absorbed in their own lives, and social gatherings become less frequent. This is when many people start feeling lonely, wondering if they still have anyone to rely on. The fear of being left behind can become overwhelming, leading to sadness and even depression. Mrs. Ruby, 68 age, experienced these emotions firsthand. In her younger years, she was a dedicated nurse, always surrounded by patients and colleagues. But after retiring, she felt like she no longer belonged to any community. Her children had moved to different cities for work, and her friends became increasingly distant. The once lively home suddenly felt eerily quiet. 4.1. The fear of isolation and social disconnection. In the early days of retirement, Ruby felt lost. No more daily calls about work, no more bustling schedules that gave her a sense of purpose. When she tried reaching out to old friends, she realized that everyone had their own busy lives, and meetups often got postponed indefinitely. She worried that she would become a lonely old woman, spending her days waiting for phone calls that would never come. This fear was not just a passing thought. It became an ever-present anxiety that made her withdraw from the world. She avoided going out, afraid of feeling even more disconnected. 4.2. Reconnecting with the social world. One day, while sitting alone in the park, Ruby overheard a group discussing a local book club. Despite her hesitation, she decided to give it a try. The first meeting was uncomfortable. She felt like an outsider, unsure of how to start a conversation. But instead of walking away, she kept attending, listening, and slowly integrating herself into the group. Before long, she found like-minded people, and conversation started flowing naturally. Weekly gatherings became something she genuinely looked forward to. Beyond the book club, she also joined a volunteer group at the local library, helping both children and seniors develop reading skills. These activities helped her regain confidence, open up to new experiences, and eliminate the feeling of isolation. 4.3. Social connection doesn't have to be complicated. Many older adults believe that making new friends is too difficult. But in reality, social connections can be built through small yet meaningful interactions, greeting neighbors each morning and exchanging a few words. Joining community classes such as painting, dancing, or cooking. Participating in online groups if mobility is limited. Forums and social media groups are great ways to connect. Reaching out to old friends, sometimes a simple text or call, can revive past relationships. A year later, Ruby no longer feared living alone. She had built a new circle of friends, people who shared her interests and made her feel valued and cared for. Lesson learned: loneliness is not an inevitable part of aging. It's something we have the power to change. By actively seeking and maintaining social connections, you will never feel left behind. Step outside, open your heart, and embrace the opportunities to connect with the world. 5. Maintaining a sense of purpose. When the days feel empty, as we enter our 60s, many of us realize that life no longer has the clear goals it once did. There are no more work deadlines, no children to raise, and no daily responsibilities to structure our time. Each morning, a haunting question starts to creep in: what will I do today? 5.1. When life loses its direction. Rooster 72 was once a dedicated engineer with a long, successful career. For over 40 years, his days were filled with intense meetings, deadlines, and projects that gave him a sense of purpose. But when he retired, life slowed down in a way that felt unsettling. The phone stopped ringing with work-related calls. No one sought his professional advice anymore, and he no longer had clear objectives to strive for. At first, retirement felt like a well-earned break. No more early alarms, no more job stress. But soon, that excitement faded into an invisible anxiety. The days felt long and meaningless. He tried passing the time with TV and newspapers, but nothing filled the void. Mornings spent sipping coffee while staring out the window made him feel like he had been left behind by life itself. The fear of losing his sense of purpose became something he couldn't admit to anyone. 5.2. The Journey to Finding Meaning Again. One day, as he passed by a community center, Rooster noticed a group of people working on woodworking projects to donate to an orphanage. That moment sparked a long-lost passion. Woodworking, a craft he once loved but abandoned due to work commitments. At first, he hesitated. Was he too old to start again? Would he still have the skills? But as soon as he picked up a hammer and chisel, he felt a deep reconnection with himself. He started crafting small chairs, bookshelves, and study tables for children. Soon, he wasn't just making furniture, he was teaching others, guiding fellow retirees to rediscover their own passions. The group became a small, supportive community where Rooster felt useful once again. 5.3. The importance of having a purpose. Gradually, the emptiness in Rooster's life disappeared. Each morning he woke up with a plan, with something meaningful to do. He no longer saw himself as just an old man. He was someone making a contribution, no matter how small. A sense of purpose doesn't have to be grand. It can be as simple as tending a garden, writing down cherished memories, learning a new skill, or helping others in small ways. What truly matters isn't what you do, but how it makes you feel, that your life still has value. Lesson learned. Many people struggle with the loss of direction after retirement, fearing they no longer have a role in society. But purpose doesn't simply vanish, it just needs to be redefined. If you can find something that gives meaning to each day, you won't fear aging. Instead, you'll welcome it as a new journey filled with possibilities. Building an independent and fulfilling life in old age. As we step into our 60s, we realize that the most reliable support doesn't come solely from family, but from the pillars we build for ourselves: financial stability, good health, emotional resilience, a strong social circle, and a clear sense of purpose. These pillars not only help us maintain independence, but also create a meaningful and fulfilling life. Life after 60 doesn't have to mean dependence or loneliness. By proactively preparing, nurturing relationships, and prioritizing self-care, we can embrace our golden years with freedom, peace, and joy. Instead of fearing old age, let's see it as an opportunity to live on our own terms. Invest in yourself, find joy in the little things, and create a life where every day is worth cherishing. Aging is not the end. It's a new chapter, full of meaning and possibilities.